Welcome to this CS Talk. In our CS Talk series dealing with the responsibilities of key players in clinical research, we have spoken about the responsibilities of the CA, the EC, the PI, the study coordinators, and the pharmacy. In this video, we shall be talking about sponsors of clinical trials. The purpose of this video is to remind workers in the industry about those responsible for clinical research, as well as inform individuals who aspire to get into the industry, be it as an employee or a contractor, or like a CRO company, or even as a sponsor. Consequently, we also want to give the general public an insight into the world of drug research and development. Now, who is a sponsor? A sponsor is defined as an individual, a company, institution, or organization that takes responsibility for the initiation, management, and/or financing of a clinical trial. To break this down for easy understanding, for example of a project initiated by an individual is what is commonly referred to as an investigator-initiated trial, so the IIT. Example of an institution that initiates a trial could be a university research institution. Example of a company that initiates a trial, which is almost the case most of the time, would be trials initiated by pharmaceutical and biotechnology companies like the big ones, Bayer, Johnson & Johnson, Pfizer, AstraZeneca, and so on and so forth. Now, what are the responsibilities of a sponsor? Sponsors' responsibilities are addressed in Section 5 of the guidance document commonly known in the industry as ICH-GCP. For easy understanding, we will group the responsibilities into 5 major groups. And this will be 1. Notification and submission to regulatory authorities. 2. Confirmation of review by the Ethics Committee. 3. Record access. 4. Adverse drug reaction reporting. And 5. Non-compliance. Before we review these top 5 responsibilities, it is important to note that the sponsor can delegate these tasks to a service company like a CRO. Nevertheless, the responsibility ultimately rests with the sponsor. So let's get into it. 1. Notification and submission to regulatory authorities. The sponsor is responsible for submitting any required applications to the appropriate authorities for review, acceptance, and/or permission to begin a clinical trial. Without this, a trial cannot commence. Refer to our previous video on the responsibilities of the EC and CA by clicking the link at the bottom of this video. 2. Confirmation of review by the Ethics Committee. Sponsor is responsible for obtaining dated documentation from Ethics Committee that it operates according to ICH-GCP and applicable laws and regulations. Sponsor must obtain dated, documented EC approval / favorable opinion of the protocol, the ICF, any information provided to the subjects like recruitment procedures, and documents relating to subject payment and compensation. If Ethics Committee recommends any modification needed for approval, the sponsor should obtain a copy of the modification made from the investigator and the approval and favorable opinion. The sponsor must obtain dated documentation of reapproval or re-evaluation with approval and favorable opinion, and of any withdrawal or suspensions of approval or stroke of favorable opinions. 3. Record access. It is no secret that data integrity, privacy protection, and management is of utmost importance in today's society. Hence, having a well-defined process is vital for business development and continuity. Sponsors of clinical trial must ensure the investigator provide direct access to source data, documents for monitoring, audit, and inspection purposes. Sponsor is responsible for verifying that each subject has consented in writing to direct access to his or her original medical records for trial-related monitoring, audit, EC review, and regulatory inspection. 4. Adverse drug reaction reporting. Clinical trials often involve testing promising candidate active substances to assess safety and efficacy for human use. Thus, there is the possibility that side effects might occur during the clinical trial process. In light of this, sponsor must expedite reporting to all investigators, EC and regulatory authorities as required for all adverse drug reactions that are serious and unexpected. These expedited reports should comply with regulatory requirements and ICH-GCP guidelines for clinical safety data management. Sponsor must submit all safety updates and periodic reports to regulatory authorities as required. Number 5. Non-compliance. We have mentioned that there are applicable guidelines like the ICH-GCP, national and international law, and other laws that govern the successful conduct of a clinical trial in order to guarantee the safety of trial participants. Hence, sponsors must comply to these regulations. Sponsors are responsible to promptly act to secure or restore compliance in the event of non-compliance with protocol, SOPs, GCP, and other regulatory requirements when this becomes necessary at any given time in the trial. There are 23 points in the guideline that describe sponsors' responsibilities. Kindly follow the reference link below to further review the sponsor section of the guidelines, section 5, sponsor. Now in conclusion, thank you very much for listening to us. Please subscribe below so that you are immediately notified of new videos. Click the bell icon shown below. Watch out for our last video in this series where we will be talking about the role of the monitor, the clinical research associate. This will be a very interesting one as we will be sharing practical tips from our over 6 years of experience working in this role. So you can also follow us on LinkedIn and use the link below. Thank you very much for listening to us, and we hope to see you in the next video. And bye for now.